If anyone wants to join us on stage, feel free. We're missing Benny today. We're missing Chris. So it would be awesome to get some people up here.
I was promised that Gov wouldn't be here. Like, what the heck? Why can't we get rid of him?
I also thought he wouldn't.
Just checking before I get on the plane.
It's a good-looking man in the airport.
That's right. Look at the shirt.
Oh yeah. Today is Algorilla's Reaper Day.
Very nice. Is Wilder here?
He's supposed to be. Everyone here is. You didn't want to go to East Denver, Herc?
I'm heading out Friday.
Oh, okay.
I'll be there for dinner with the boys Friday night, and I'm Gov's +1 for a after party. He promised not to make me do anything weird. I can just go. And then all day Saturday.
In the corner.
Yeah, I mean, be standing in the corner of the of this ETH party with all these sappy seals with my pit vipers on, just hanging out. But all day Saturday and then come back on Sunday. So it'll be like I'm using it now. I don't really care much about the events. I'm really just kind of going to meet a bunch of the folks that I've been chatting with for years. So I'm really looking forward to it. IRL said she was going to go, but then she just wouldn't.
Not true.
Her husband said she's not around, not allowed around me. I think that's what happened.
I just want to make sure.
Everybody.
I was going to say hi to Shanti. Instant regrets there. Thank you, Oof.
Okay.
And make sure that we reserve some time for open floor today. I have a couple of things I would like to talk about.
Yeah.
I will be as quick as I possibly can and make sure we leave time.
Okay. So that being said, I think we should get started. I have no electricity, so I'm using my iPhone as a hotspot. So hopefully it'll go well.
Good luck.
And if you lose me, then Wilder, you can take over and I'll come back. Um, okay, so we have Chris is out today and Benny is out as well. So I am going to kind of give the opening sermon, so to speak. So we're gonna get started, but yeah, thank you everyone for being here, especially, some of you are traveling and or on your way to East Denver. So thanks for making the time. As always, I just wanted to start off with talking about Voice mission, which is, really to create the environment and the framework and kind of the structure for all of you that are, contributing real value to the community. You're really like helping to obviously shape the future of the network in a way that reflects all of the voices and that are coming into the community that have been part of it and that will continue to grow. And you've played a pivotal role in really making all of this a reality. Um, as a reminder, I'm going to go through our 4 values, but Haruf, what are our 4 values?
Oh, I have no clue. I'm not going to try.
Okay.
I know that I embody most of them, but I'm not going to be able to name them off.
Course. Um, that's that's a lot of confidence on your part.
It's actually a part of my integrity is not lying and looking it up while we're talking, So yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay, so as Benny likes to remember it, GICI or geeky, the first being goodwill, the second integrity, the third collaboration, and the fourth intentionality. And I think, in the past few weeks, like past month or so, as we've like geared up for the NFT games, we've really seen all 4 of these come through. And have the council particularly has reflected all of these values. And people that have been actually building applications and trying to get everything ready by March 1st. Like we've seen an incredible amount of collaboration and support for each other, as well as engagement in the existing community and trying to help people come in and launch their NFTs for the first time on HighForge. So thank you for all of that. I do want to say that it's important, like as the council grows and that we continue to live out these values as we've kind of seen in the past month, so that we continue to maintain them and um, emphasize them as we move on to mainnet. And as we've kind of seen, it really trickles down to the members of the Void community and people that are coming in. And it'll also help to ensure that we are attracting the right people and the right projects that reflect these values. And I think that's super important as we head into mainnet. And the other thing that we've kind of seen in the past few weeks is that like the foundation doesn't necessarily have the answers to everything. And so, people have come forth and they've been like, there's not enough ways for people to get via, or there's this solution doesn't exist. Like, how do we address it? And I think what we've been super impressed by is that many of those same people have come forth with real suggestions and solutions, and this is like how we want to operate moving forward. And we've been really like amazed by that, that solution oriented mentality, and this really reflects the core value of intentionality. So that's going to be a core value for today. And intentionality, if you forgot, really means being a problem solver in the community and being proactive with coming up with solutions for gaps that you see, issues that you see. If someone is facing a problem, like being intentional about helping them out. And so today I'd really like to acknowledge Rachel for the guides and content and articles that she's created. She's really like exemplified this to the extreme, where she's seen a problem and been like, I'm going to address it, and done it like very efficiently and in a way that is extremely digestible and accessible to everyone. So we want to thank her for that, and also hope that more people kind of step forth and think about issues in a similar way that she has. And those will be used, for a long time, though they are indispensable, right now as we head into that, but also moving forward as we try to onboard new people. So if you're interested in, contributing in similar ways, like, reach out, send a DM to me or just in the channel, and we can, help you get started, and also like start having maybe some more office hours to make this more feasible. And that is really all for me. So thank you. And I'm gonna move on to the next agenda item here, which is, let me see.
Which will be boosting for DD on extended note awards.
Okay. Yeah.
And just before he kicks it off, I also wanted to add on for recognition, everyone in that NFT Games developer channel. Thank you so much for all the time you're putting in. You're making a huge difference. You're hitting the deadlines, and there's so much collaboration there, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone banding together and teaming up like they have. So thank you very much. And
Yeah.
excited
I
to see
also, sorry. Oh, I want to thank Super Synapse also for creating the Discord server. Yeah, I forgot to, and all the videos to go along with the guides. They've been really useful, and he's done it very quickly. Okay. Yeah. So, Bunsan
Hey
Mucho.
guys, I don't know, can you all hear me? I'm trying out a new mic, so just making sure it all works. Perfect. Yeah, so the proposal is a bit straightforward. It's just an extension of the node incentives in anticipation of the incoming, well, the already executed NFT rewards and sort of the expansion of the testnet period. There are a few things that are kind of like a cause of concern. One of them is just a longer term sort of thought experiment, which is that, I mean, what we've seen right now with incentives was that it worked really well to jumpstart the network, but there is a thing when it comes to sustainability and just how good this is going to be moving forward come mainnet. And I think it is something that we're probably going to have to adjust and be sort of, I would say, less giving on the early stages of mainnet, because if we're not like that, I think we're probably going to have the same situation. And unlike on testnet, on mainnet, we are probably gonna run into issues if suddenly the foundation needs or the council needs to deploy more capital to encourage node running. So this is something to just have a quick think about. I don't know if the solution is on the raising of fees or looking into the incoming node incentive program that Algorand Mainnet is running, or a combination of both. I believe that is probably going to be a combination of both into creating a. There is a DD doc IRL. Let me just share it, but it's very simple because the proposal itself is very quick. I'll share it after the talk if that's okay with you, to the rest of the committee, and I'll put it as well. But yeah, so it's just long-term thoughts. And the second one is the voting period. So right now, this proposal needs to be whatchamacallit, passed by tomorrow for there to not be any disruption into node incentives. So because of the nature of it and sort of like when it was proposed and everything like that, it does come to show that there is a bit of a lag on the decision-making process of the committee. So this is something that like we should take into account for future. And I don't think there is any intention for it to go past the June 1st deadline. But should there be one, ideally we would want to have this requested and voted upon probably by April at the latest, and not one day before. But other than that, the actual proposal when it comes to the implementation, sort of like what changes and how it changes, it's pretty straightforward. We're just essentially taking some VIA out, putting some more VOI in. The request amount is 1 billion. And with this amount, there is an adjustment into how much is given to each node that goes online, what the health reward bonus looks like. And with that adjustment, we should be able to stretch out these rewards for the next incoming 6 months. So more so than a technical proposal, it's more of a practical one. because it is a program that we already ran. And because it's a program that we already ran, it's just requesting for more funding to expand that program. Other than that, there is just, again, a general DD doc that I'll share after the meeting with all the committee members, just about my general thoughts as to how to like make sure that we're not in this situation come mainnet. But I do feel that it is a proposal that I personally endorse, and that I think we should expedite just because of the incoming NFT, well, the incoming surge on network usage and the need for those nodes to be online. And if there's any questions, please fire them away.
I have a question about the feedback around the old and new health rewards. I saw some negative feedback around taking that approach, and it seemed like that was an overcomplication. In your opinion, should that stay in or should that be removed?
I think the new overcomplication of health rewards, in my opinion, it was fine. Like I didn't understand why people were sort of like so negative towards the new health rewards. Personally, I think they were like, I think they should stay. Like I think the split up of into old and new, as opposed to just a new an old block as it was before, I think that's perfectly fine. I know that Lobo, I think, had some comments about this, but I'm not sure if it was Lobo that had comments negative towards this. Maybe I'm imagining myself. But in my opinion, all the new rewards should stay. Like that split is fine. Anyone else? And for those that don't know, it's essentially like the old ones are like, there is a split on how much of the health rewards are dedicated to nodes that spin up after a date and before a date. That's like the difference between old and new.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I good presentation. Certainly need to make sure that the node rewards continue. In my humble opinion, I don't have a vote, but they've been instrumental in onboarding and securing the network. I think it's really important for everyone to parse the difference between mainnet and testnet, and that there'll be a completely separate process for mainnet to make sure that the participation node reward system is calibrated for not short term, but for a 20+ year term. So for this is specifically to incentivize individuals to get things up and running and to learn how to do it properly during testnet. So when we get to mainnet, you'll be ready to go and we'll be able to secure the network on day one. So just wanted to point that out. There's lots to think about when we talk about a mainnet rollout, but for the testnet, this is part of the overall game structure, and we should certainly be sure to make it available for people to be incentivized to continue to contribute to the security.
Yep, sounds about right. And I will just read some of the comments, just in case people don't have access to the meeting chat on YouTube and whatever. There were two. One from Lobo was just a general comment from me. I think we're discouraging people to start new nodes after March 15th, which is true. But in my opinion, considering that the program is not going to run past March 15th and is already pretty successful in the sense that we have a robust amount of nodes, both relays and actual nodes being ran, I think for testnet purposes, in my opinion, that's good enough. Like I think the node runners that have shown loyalty for the long duration of the testnet so far do deserve to be rewarded. And I do think, however, that this is something that we should avoid, and doing temporal sort of rewards assignments come mainnet should be a red line that shouldn't be crossed, like in my opinion, for mainnet. For testnet, I think it's fine just because it has a hard deadline, which is probably going to be June. And we're just doing this in anticipation of a surge on demand and to make sure that there's going to be nodes operating. But I'm almost 99% sure that there's going to be enough nodes even for sort of the NFT awards. And then the other comments, I'm concerned it ostracizes new nodes runners by having old versus new. Yep, it totally does, and it is something that, in my opinion, should be discouraged in mainnet. But I think it is a good sort of stopgap and make sure that just enough nodes are operating come testnet. Like, I think it's fine right now, but it's not a good solution, if that makes sense. And considering that testnet is to try out this type of patchworking, I think that's fine. And other than that, yeah, I think like I understand that it could make it sort of more confusing in the sense that why am I getting more rewards? And it does make it feel like, oh, I came in after March 15th, oh, I'm getting screwed. Oh, if it's after March 15th, then why should I ever spin up a node? And this is gonna sound a bit like pragmatic on my behalf, but I do feel that a person that is spinning up a node for what is essentially going to be uh, 2 months of a of a close to year long process, I do feel that person should probably get less rewards than sort of your average reward. And why not just cut health rewards entirely? That is also a solution. Personally, I think the two tier approach was good enough, but that was just my assessment of the situation. But again, if there is a big time limit on this vote, so if this is a sort of if the health reward split up is enough cause of concern, there is like we do run the risk of essentially having to at least cut back or run the old program, which will mean less tapered off rewards moving forward. So it is if it's something that's paramount that we take a decision on, then I would encourage all of those people that oppose this program entirely to just comment either right now or alternatively expedite the vote today. I know that people are on November and I know that it's time sensitive, but I would try to like get everyone to just vote on this tonight, just so that in case that this is the majority of the opinion that the splitting up of the health rewards is wrong, we can find a solution as ASAP. And ASAP probably means a solution before the next council meeting.
If you can step down to let Lobo speak.
So yeah, just to comment on this division of these old and new health rewards. I think for example, if we have it like now, so we have like, okay, the NFT games start on the 1st, and we get hopefully new people in right from the start. And then we have like this, okay, what we are actually doing is like saying, don't start a new node after March 15th. It's just you could get rewards, okay, yeah, but it might be a bad idea in the sense that compared to everyone else, you might not get as much as you would like. So if we have like, okay, we say to those people, okay, if you want a node, now's the time, then it's also like encouraging them to maybe make the final decision on, for example, running the node then, or really deciding, okay, I don't think I want to run one, and both options totally fine. And then, like Butan said, it's like we have so many node runners, and then older comments were like, okay, we have so many and we don't need new ones. And maybe it's like if we are like mid-March and then mainnet is supposed to come Q2, so it's like 1.5 to 2 months or 2.5 months before mainnet. So maybe that's the cutoff where we should say, okay, don't start a new testnet node for like a few weeks. Maybe that's not the best decision for you. And so we're kind of doing it in a not direct way, because we are just saying if you start after that, you get less rewards. So maybe you should think about it. But I think it's fine to divide those in old and new. So yeah, just a general comment.
Good comments. I think that it can't be highlighted enough how mission critical this proposal is. There are a lot of people that are not active, loud, whatever, that are helping secure this network, and the reward system structure just needs to function in an appropriate manner. And I think it is well calibrated, and I think that those that were early are being rewarded for being early, and those that are late still have an opportunity. So I think it's pretty well put together. Just want to make sure everyone understands that the work that this community has done is truly remarkable. That if you look at the gold standard for decentralization of a node network, it's called the Nakamoto coefficient. And we would currently score third of all chains that are actively functioning. So it's working what we've been doing, and we should just be mindful not to crash the car when we're running in the right direction.
Bill, I wanted to ask you if you're around. I know you're busy, but there are some comments in the comments part of the meeting about health rewards and how if we were to remove those, it would basically create a division, but there's already a division with this new. I mean, I heard you talk about health rewards and whether or not you thought that they were really providing a ton of value fairly recently. Can you just like reiterate your stance on that?
So my personal belief is health rewards could be killed right now and the network would be fine. That's not the full consideration, but that's a big part of it. That, the health rewards was essentially to ensure that people can get the ball rolling and then start actually scoring on block rewards. It's interesting, when we started the NFT games and promoting them, we've had a lot of influx of how do I get Voy? How do I get Via? And the answer is, well, you can only get Voy if you run a node, and you can only get Voy if you run a healthy node. So we'll see in a week or two when you gather enough health score rewards to then start producing blocks to stack. And so it's the question for this entire body is, are we big enough? Do we have enough? Do we want people that are showing up to have, an opportunity to get into the mix really? And if you remove health rewards, it will be very hard to stack Voy. There are a lot of opportunities to score via with development and for non-technical. So you're not completely boxed out. And there's a DEX where you can swap via for Voy to improve the health of your node to get block rewards. And you can panhandle. You can reach out to people that already have a bunch and say, hey, can I get some? Or hey, can I swap something for you? So I think the ecosystem has grown sufficiently where there should be a scrutiny of health rewards. I don't have any umbrage with anybody who says just kill them because we have enough. But I also understand that, like, well, hey, this collector of this community that now wants to join our network wants to know how I can help and how I can earn. And the health rewards really is a springboard to becoming not a whale, but someone with a sufficient basket to buy an NFT or two.
Thanks for just re-saying that. I've heard you talk about it before. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't getting opinions lost.
For maybe a final comment on this, the split between the 10 million going to 75% to old, and 2.5% or sorry 25% going to new node runners after March 15th. The old node runners would be taking advantage of the full 10%, where the new node runners would only be taking advantage of the 25%, sorry, 100%, and the new would be taking advantage of the 25%. That 25% and that 2.5 million in health rewards, at that number, if you were running a node purely for health rewards and then selling them, you would not be making more than it costs to host a node for around 20 USD per month. However, if you were to continue to build those health rewards and start to earn block rewards, you would reach that break-even point after roughly a month. So that's why those numbers were set where they were. After March 15th, the risk of people coming in, spinning up a node purely to get health rewards and cash out would drop to near zero, in my opinion, based on the numbers.
So I just want to be the devil's advocate and ask, if this doesn't pass, do we default to something? Like what happens?
Relay runners still have some budget allocation. I believe that the block rewards for participation nodes would run out of elk or run out of void.
When?
I think they have 300, and I think they would last one more month potentially. I need to double check with Benny, but I believe the last chunk was sent 50% for ballast, so that would be roughly 3 weeks.
Just to give us an idea of what kind of, like budgetary, I think of the American budget system right about now. I just wanted to know what happened. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, some of it goes back to making sure that we're looking at testnet ecosystem different than mainnet, because with the testnet, we are probably not going to come close to the 3 billion tokens that we thought we were going to distribute overall. So it's not, inflationary or diluting to go ahead and start testing for more tokens. I'm confused. 1 second. Sorry about that. I will. Sorry about that. I'm bored and playing. It got kind of confusing. So for testnet, if this body approves more tokens, it was always anticipated that the node running would be a huge chunk of it and would continue to have more tokens added. But not long story short, I just don't want people to get tripped up with like, oh, we're just issuing too many tokens and now we're causing problems from mainnet. It's a completely separate exercise for us to analyze what happened in Texas.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gov, but I do think that it's interesting, both like as this is such a big program and it's a program that requires constant topping up. It's interesting to see just how the committee can handle situations like this and avoid sort of crises, as you would call them, like IRL was echoing at, where if we don't support this or we don't pass this through in essentially 3 weeks, we would have what would probably be a catastrophic situation. So it's interesting in that sense. And then the second one is, I think it also should bring conscience into like for mainnet trying to avoid these type of programs if possible. Of course, node incentivization is a very specific one, but any recurring program is always going to cause these types of renewal issues. So I do think, like for example,
I'll talk
yeah.
about mainnet then. So mainnet, the foundation doesn't exist. There is no authority to issue tokens right now. But what we've discussed repeatedly is that there will be a 20-year program for participation nodes with a 10% earmark of the overall token supply. The question is how and when and at what events do we release those tokens, all of which will be analyzed completely differently than how we're doing this. This is an exercise of testnet to make sure that the network works properly and that people are incentivized to join us, participate, and win a game. So I hear everyone say like, hey, we should really be thinking about mainnet. We will be thinking about mainnet when we actually have a mainnet organization that exists that can analyze and provide public comment and then vote and act and start issuing tokens when we have authority to do so under various international laws.
Yeah, sure, that's perfectly fine. I mean, of course, anything that has to do with mainnet is going to look extremely different to what we're doing right now. But it is just something that is kind of like annoying, like always there's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution type of thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
And looking back, I would have loved that our testnet node reward system was worked all the way through the end of the third quarter of this year, but it wasn't.
And with that, I think I've also shared my DD now on both the Discord and the chat. So if you guys want to have a look at that document, and if you guys need any edit access or comment access, just let me know.
Thank you.
I think we're good. Can I get Zyphoid to come up for his presentation, please?
Okay.
All right, can you hear me? All right, everyone, how are you? So glad I could join you. I'm supposed to be on a plane right now. It was delayed, so I'm at the airport. I apologize if it is loud. I did the DD for the track position here to help facilitate rewards for all of the different proposals. And we had Void Dweller and we had Rach, who both applied and went through the process to determine whether or not they were qualified, and they both were definitely qualified. So it was a tough decision to figure out who I would recommend. The process I went through was really to just see what kind of commitment they had, what kind of time they could put into this, a little bit of their story, how they got involved in the Void community, why they wanted to be involved, where they are in the world, what their availability would be to get on the phone with different people from around the world, and what kind of communication they would be able to have, considering that at least for the most part, everyone's communicating in English, speaking in English, even if people are in different parts of the world. So, and so Void Dweller is in Europe, Rach is in Australia. They both, look at my notes here. Here, let me
And if you
share
can
my
share
notes.
the notes.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to do here. All right, can everyone see that? Yeah, we're good. Okay, yeah, I see that. So both really were originally involved in the Algorand community for a few years, and then heard about Void through that. Void Dweller was interested in starting his own community NFT collections, but he wasn't so good at social media, or didn't feel like he wanted to put that effort into it. So he likes the idea of managing processes and being part of the community, but not necessarily driving that. So he works from home during the day, but he has a flexible schedule where he's able to do some things on a case by case basis during the day. If he needed to take a call or answer some communication, he is available to do that. His general hours daily that he could commit to this would be between 7 and 11 Central East European time, and and he's willing to commit whatever time he needs to, and he's enthusiastic about it. So if he was going to speak on the phone, he's okay with phone. English is not his first language, but he's comfortable with it. He uses it in his daily work. I will say that although he's very proficient in English, there were some times it was a little challenging to understand, just because he has a thick accent. Nothing that couldn't be overcome, but it's just a point in there. And let's see. He had some questions that I will. Let's go ahead and ask those now, and then I'll go over Rach afterwards. In the DD document, it says that he missed a couple of the transcriptions, and he was surprised by that and asked to be pointed out what those were. I don't know if this is the forum to do that, or if that's just something we should do offline. Walter, I'll revert to you on that.
Yeah, specifically for these concerns, just so everyone's aware, we had a group chat in Discord with both Rach and Void Dweller, where they were able to ask questions and get feedback. So that would be the place to resolve it. They both did ask a lot of questions, and I think pointing him to those would be done offline.
Okay, great. Well, then we can move on from that. IRL. So you're saying that you don't see it. Are you seeing Rach on the screen now? Because that's what I have coming up. Anyway, I will move along.
Yeah, sorry,
so-
I just mean the DD document that Wilder linked isn't what you're screen sharing. So like I'm just old and I can't like read the words on the screen share. I can see rage, but that's about it. So I was trying to get the actual document in front of me. I'm sorry.
Okay, got it. You know what? These are just my notes, and I apologize. I didn't actually expect to do the DD today because I was going to be on a call, and I just found out literally half an hour before this meeting that I was going to do it. So I'm just going off of my notes and not an official DD doc. So hopefully,
I think I just found them, so hopefully everyone else can follow along.
yeah. So sorry about that. Hopefully this will work out for today. All right, so Rach, as I mentioned, she's also been with the Algorand community since about 2021, and she's run a node since November. And what's her interest in the position? She wants to earn VIA, which I love that. I think that's a great and noble reason to want this position. But she's also feels like she's fully qualified to do this. She knows very well how to manage spreadsheets, data entry, these kinds of tasks. She can manage to a high standard. And she realizes this is a necessary part of the puzzle within the community that's been lagging behind, and she wants to contribute valuably to the community. Her time commitment, so she's a stay-at-home mom. She takes care of her kids during the day, which means that she does have some flexibility throughout the day. Urgent meetings will be challenging just because she has to prioritize childcare as she needs, but there is downtime. So you know, I didn't feel like that was going to be a challenge because there are very few things within this role that require an urgent drop everything now. And very few things. I don't think there's anything. And then otherwise, she is free to dedicate her time between 7 and 11 Australian time. And so same amount of time as Void Dweller. She's prepared to spend the time. She understands the commitment. And no problem interviewing people, talking on the phone. English is her first language, and all good there. The other time commitment she has, as I mentioned, is taking care of the kids, but she will be able to work around that, and that is effectively it. So, you know, with all of these things in mind, I had to make a decision, and I am putting Rach forward as my recommendation. You know, mainly it's around the English communication. Not that Void Dweller couldn't do it, but if I have to choose, I think Rach, you know, takes that cake. Also, there was one confusion in the initial test to get in there. Again, doesn't sound like it was anything that could have been overcome, but needed to make a decision. So that is what I am recommending. Any questions?
I just wanted to provide a little bit further context on what differentiated what Void Dweller put forward and Rachel did. There were stretch goals included in the track bounty. Rachel applied to the stretch goals as well, where Void Dweller didn't. So that may also speak to Rachel having, per se, a greater competency when it comes to what's required for the role.
Just a comment. If I remember correctly, it was like Rage had experience in like coding, essentially, and I think Void Dweller didn't so much, at least. So that is also I think the reason why Rage applied for the stretch goals, essentially because she has the capabilities to do them. Just a comment. So it sounds like in this case, like also Rage has. What you can do is take a look at. Yeah, she. What do I want to say? I don't remember. I just step back.
Well, good. If that's all, I will step down. Thanks, everyone.
I just want to recognize Void Dweller for his great efforts, and he's a great candidate. I hope there are going to be opportunities for roles for him in the future, and this is our first comparative process as well. So if we have time today in the meeting, I have a document that sort of outlines what Zyphoid pioneered. And before doing that, if I can just switch up the actual flow of the meeting, I'd like to give Taco the time to do his presentation, then an open floor, and if we have time afterwards, then I will present these documents to make sure everyone gets a chance. Taco, if you could come to the main stage, you're in backstage right now. I've just sent him some messages. Okay, here he goes. We're good. Now you're in the right spot. Now you can share, and we can hear you as well.
Is he doing some talking for other people?
I'm not hearing anything. I sent him a
As
message in Discord saying we can't hear him. So
Feels like we're getting rugged by Elon, but in Rome.
Yeah, I think he's having some technical difficulties. So maybe to fill in some of this gap before he comes back on stage, if everyone can look at their agenda for the meeting today, I shared 2 formulas that were included for the NFT games. And I think I can paste these into the chat here, just so people can see these. Let's see. Okay, Rome does not let me post images, but yeah, on the agenda, if you scroll down below the member open floor, the first formula has to do with initial mint. I just want, if people think there are issues in what we're doing, I'd just like them to speak up. These are pretty much finalized, and they will be finalized 30 minutes after this meeting. The first has to do with if someone comes in for a public mint and they have less or more than 25 NFTs available for the public mint, they will not qualify for the sellout time. They will only qualify for the amount sold, and that will be part of the ranking. But essentially, if you were unable to follow the requirements of having 25 NFTs available for public mint, you won't be competing with others for sellout time, just on the amount you sell. And Taco, just give me a moment here to get through the second piece of this. The second formula, and these both have to do with just the initial mint phase of the NFT games, which is day 1 plus the extension to calculate sellout times. The other one is a time penalty that will be applied to the collections if they have less than 15 unique addresses for the public mint. This provides a way to encourage the collectors of these NFTs who want to benefit from the rewards that come from these NFTs from going in and minting out a full collection and essentially hoarding all of the NFTs. The 15 was chosen because it still allows a little bit of leeway for those who may have not followed the rules or may not know that it's recommended you only mint 1 NFT per phase per collection. So this means if you got a whitelist, you can still mint 1 from public, but this does provide essentially a rule that will help disincentivize people from minting, let's say, 10 NFTs from 1 collection and preventing others the opportunity to mint. So these are, there's math on here. The one for adding time to the sellout time is adding flat amounts, 5-minute increments for every person you have less than 15 unique addresses. We've spent a lot of time thinking about these. I just wanted to run them by the council if we have issues there. And I see Ost right now. He has the ability to add a UI option to limit the mint to 1 per page. That's amazing. I think that should definitely be put in place, and that's going to sidestep a huge amount of the issue here. So it might be a not a factor, the second formula. The first one, I do personally think it's important that the creators have followed the rules here, and that we shouldn't allow someone who's selling 20 NFTs or someone who's selling 30 NFTs to compete on the sellout time, reserve the right to compete on sellout time just for those who hit the public mint with 25 NFTs.
A question. I don't understand these formulas. So what am I seeing here? So if they had like 25 NFTs, then their sellout time is their sellout time. And if they had more than 25, okay, so I see now. That's okay. Why do collections get points if they have less than 25 NFTs? I would give them 0 points. Because, I mean, if you give out even more of your NFTs before this whole thing, you're kind of missing the point, in my opinion. So why even give them points?
So this was to be maybe accommodating to creators who may have made an honest mistake. It still gives them the ability to rank on this leaderboard, but they'll only be ranking in the number sold, and they'll never be able to hit the full 25 like someone who followed the rules will. So this was just to give a little bit of leniency to those who may have had technical difficulties. Let's actually continue this conversation in the governor's channel after the meeting to give Taco time and then time for open discussion, but I appreciate the comment. The floor is yours, Taco.
Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, all right. How about that?
Does anyone else hear that buzzing? That was really bad.
Yeah, like a electric, like a
It's bad.
bug
It sounds
zapper.
like you're next to a bug zapper.
Let me move my technology. Things better? Are things getting better? I need
It's
to get
real bad.
Oh my gosh. Let me hold on. Oh my god. A second. Let's see if we can fix this. Is it better? No?
You might want to call me on your phone, and then I'll let them listen from my phone.
How's that? Is that any better?
No, it's so bad though. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe just try to disconnect your mic and reconnect it.
How about that? Is that any better?
I think it got worse.
Worse, huh? Oh my god.
It's worse for sure.
Try to kill us.
Considering the time we have and the technical difficulties, let's move on to open discussion, and we can try this again next week, Taco. If that's all right, and I'll work with you to make sure we have a good mic connection before the meeting happens.
Can we vote to crowdsource a new mic for Taco?
Yeah, I think we'll come back to this next week. Sorry for the delay, everybody, and the noise. Could we?
Guys, have a good week. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll have it squared away.
Thank you. IRL, maybe if you want to kick it off.
Made my eyes water. It has to be like the worst feedback I've ever heard. I'm so sorry, Taco. I'm sure you'll get it figured out because I wanted to hear from you. But like legit, this is real. Like my eyes are watering. I wanted to just quick bring up a couple things during open floor today. I'm sure other people have stuff too, so I'll try to keep it brief. One of the things I'm bumping into is when I go into Discord, I can't really find pertinent things linked where they should be. So like just pinning stuff. But the problem I'm finding is people can't pin stuff. It seems like there's really limited access on who can and can't pin. And so I don't know if it's worth increasing the scope of who can pin things or making some sort of process so we can flag things to be pinned. But I just feel like if I can't find stuff, it's got to be a little bit more frustrating unless you're going through some of the new documents that have come out. Those have some like really good aggregation, but like as far as going to the Discord where you expect to find the links, I would just really appreciate if they were pinned on every page, those ones that would be relevant to that page. So that's like my first item. I would like to ask if that's possible or how we could potentially address that.
I think TD could actually be maybe one to help coordinate that. I know he has elevated privileges, so maybe as a starting point, people who are in the council could be given those permissions to be able to pin things, and then we could go from there for expanding privileges.
I can also talk to Cody about it. I'm not sure what the current setup is, but I can flag it to him.
Okay, and then the other thing is, I know Shanti wanted us to verify our council member incentive amounts that got paid out. And I know I verified it last time, but for the life of me, I can't figure out where to view that transaction if I didn't know exactly what my balance was before.
Okay, so I've got a number of questions about this. So I'll share the link. We have to use Nick's site, the Sandbox site, because evidently you can't view transactions on Voy Observer. And you also, some people have not like opted into VIA on Cabisa, so they have not been able to see it. So send, I will send that exact link, and basically you would put in the address, your own address, and then my address, and you should be able to see it. I did double check that everyone received the payments, and it looks like triple checked, and it looks like everyone received them. So I'm talking about the NFT games. You're talking about the council rewards, right? Okay, so those are also all sent. So,
I know you had asked us to confirm we received them, and it wasn't for a lack of trying or like blowing you off on that request. I hadn't confirmed I received it because I haven't been able to I'm sure it's there, but I haven't been able to like find it again, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So
okay, let me see if I can help everyone out and maybe send a transaction something.
yeah, or if there's just like again something we could pin somewhere. I don't know. It just like I said, I'm sure that if you didn't get a lot of responses, that might have been why. Because like I did fumble around and DM Scotty and look in Kibisis and look in Void Explorer. And, yeah, so I don't know. It just might streamline you getting responses back if you're looking for those confirmations.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten confirmations from a few people, but not everyone. So let me see thanks for letting me know where the hiccup is.
And for, I guess, the greater Voy community, who I'm sure is also having this issue of tracking their VIA balances, Kieran is planning on adding that functionality into the wallet itself. He's just prioritized what's required for the NFT games first, which was the onboarding through a QR code, which ties into the physical wallets that will be handed out at ETH Denver, as well as making sure the wallet connects are working very well when people come to Highforge and Nautilus. So I know it's on his roadmap, but in the interim, Lobo provided the link, which I'm sure Shanti will be able to share, which goes into something Shelly's made where you can track the transactions. It's not a great solution. It's difficult to find, but it's the interim solution, let's say.
That concludes my comments for open floor today. Thank you.
I have a very important one that I think the council should be brought in on, and I think Shanti can provide some additional context on. Currently, the NFT games is scheduled to last 9 weeks. So we've received feedback from the core team or the foundation, whatever you want to call them right now, that may feel that may be too long of a period of time. So maybe if you could provide some context around why 9 weeks might be too long of a period for the NFT games, and then we could maybe discuss what an adjustment could be.
Yeah. So honestly, we weren't sure when the proposal was first written how long. It should be like 1 to 3 months. Um, and we like honestly, it's just like a feeling that 3 months is a long time and there will be like a loss of momentum and enthusiasm and excitement. That's like very subjective. And but so there one way to approach it is like based off of this kind of like feeling like the subjectivity of like how long do we think people will be engaged? How long will there be like this kind of motivation? And we're like, oh, maybe it should be like 6 weeks or 8 weeks because that seems like a reasonable time. We could get more specific and create some type of KPIs or something that will help us dictate how long they should be, and that's kind of up to the council to decide. But we do need to decide it. I believe Benny said before the payout of the first games because it will dictate like how the funds are allocated for everything. So that is something that is kind of pressing. Like we should probably decide this by the next council meeting. And how we go about it is kind of up to you, but there was just the sentiment that, man, 3 weeks is kind of, or 3 months is kind of a long time.
Yeah, and maybe to clarify, this was probably my bad when I sent over notes. The current period in the proposal is a 9-week period, so March 1st to April, March 1st to May, May 3rd. So that would be including the previous time that we spent onboarding creators. It is a 3-month process in total, but the games themselves would be a 9-week period. So I think that is closer in line. And then and Lobo, please share your comment.
Essentially, I wanted to agree to the loss of momentum. I don't think that. So essentially, what Super Synapse just said, people like trade a lot in the beginning, and then it dries down, and then it's more like, okay, either it continues, for example, the floor prices to increase or to decrease, and then depending on that, more trading can happen. But I don't see how we will get like great excitement if we do it like, for example, even 8 weeks is too much, definitely for me personally. I would say like max like 6 weeks. I would honestly be fine with just a month, and just have a very dense, or if you call it dense, but dense month of like activity and stuff, and then yeah, it might be also easier to follow for other people. So if it's not like, oh, the games are still ongoing and stuff, and I should still have a look at stuff, it would be like easier. Okay, it's like a 1 month or 1.5 months for stuff to try out and to have fun, and then it's done, and then we can, I guess, essentially wait for mainnet.
And to that point specifically, the waiting for mainnet, I know when writing this, that was the motivation to increase the time, was essentially for there to be an activity for new members when they join at that stage, when running a node may be less appealing the closer we get to that deadline. So right now, I think we can let this be decided on during next council meeting, and we'll still be able to track rewards, and the initial mint won't be impacted by this decision. It'll just be the secondary that will be impacted by the decision. And then furthermore, it also gives me the opportunity to discuss with the directors, as well as talk to the core team as well, to have a better grasp of what the marketing is. Because if the marketing plans do extend past the first month, what will that marketing be going towards if we have a period between let's say early April and potentially June for mainnet to come? What will fill that void?
Even if we have time, like to vote on this next week, we should comment on this somewhere. So, for example, in the Discord, so we all can essentially after next meeting or in the meeting, like vote on it. So we don't get in time trouble. And because before we forget, like we need a DD person for Nomadex.
Yes. I assume that you you
Nope.
still feel the same way. It should be somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else. Exactly. So it's not like, again, me just looking over it and giving essentially like the same feedback. Would be great to have someone else.
I would like to nominate Coop to take on this due diligence. He's made it to the meeting today. He said he wants to get more involved. I will be having a call with him as well, where I can walk him through what that DT process will look like. But maybe Coop, if you want to take the mic, would you be up to that this week? Oh, you're talking in your row. You have to click the mic in the middle. The little one on the stand. I will follow this up offline. I will let everybody know Coop is still talking in his row. You can also come to stage, Coop, if you want to share there as well. But I'm going to try to get Coop doing this due diligence, and then if somebody else would like to.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Can people hear me? Hi, guys. How are you? My name is Cooper. Hi, Super Synapse. So yeah, sure. Yeah, please. Me and you are going to talk tomorrow, right? So you'll help me out. And I'm back. Thank you guys so much for having patience with me and allowing me to come back. I just screamed. So I hope that was really loud and painful. Couldn't have been as loud as Taco. But yeah, the whole screen is different than last time. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, but I will. So there you go.
Excellent. Okay, I think that covers everything. Thank you, everybody, for staying a little bit longer. Once again, it ran over. And Taco, we will have you up next time. He's already messaged me on Discord. He's bought a new mic, so great to hear it. And looking forward to the next meeting, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.